Written by E.M. Chapter 1. In Warner Country, you live and die by the pigskin. In the Thompson household, proudly led by the head coach of Warner University football, we take it a step further. You breathe it until it cements in your cells. I'm pretty sure I've known what a blitz was since I was a toddler. I barely recognize my father without a whistle around his neck and sweat dripping from his pinched forehead to his jawline. And if he isn't wearing blue and white, we must be going on vacation because that shit just ain't right. In exactly 45 days, I'll be carrying on the Thompson tradition of making Warner's my alma mater, just like the last 5 generations. The only difference is, they all played football. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, and so on. They bled blue and white. My father may have been the first one to have gone on and coached officially, but unofficially, they all gave their 2 cents from the sidelines. My father's just the only one who gets paid to do it. Sadly, I'm a girl. Not just that, but the only child, too. I can't play for the regular football team, but there is one thing I can do to make my dad proud. Slaughter the Hamilton University Powderpuff team. On the field, of course. Girls versus girls. Warner versus Hamilton. 1 game, 1 winner. Those bitches are going down. Kennedy, do you believe this shit? My dad asks, tilting his cell phone toward me so I can watch the amateur video playing on the screen. My blood boils underneath the surface while I take in the images. Similarly, my father is white-knuckling his phone case as he watches his beloved blue and white alight with fire. Frank, put that away, my mom scolds. My father may rule the field, but my mother rules this house. He side-eyes her and then huffs, sliding his phone out of reach. I sit forward and pluck it off the fancy white tablecloth before leaning back in the chair, watching the flaming blue and white-dressed dummies get strung up on a tree by the Hamilton University players. If we're the Hatfields, HU are the McCoys. Our rivalry is decades long and fierce as hell. Kennedy, my mom groans, we're eating breakfast here. I turn my attention toward her. She's already dressed to the nines with her hair perfectly styled. She's the quintessential housewife, and I'm the exact opposite. I move my stare back to the screen where a bunch of girls file in front of the camera wearing red and gold shirts with black tutus and matching paint under their eyes. The lead girl flips a white placard over that reads, "You're going down, Warner." The next says, "Eat a bag of dicks." Then, "Suck it, bitches." And last, Hamilton Field. 2 weeks. There it is. The camera zooms in, focusing on those 4 words. They've thrown down the gauntlet, and for the very first time after watching similar videos in years past, I'll actually play a part in this tradition. Goosebumps course over my skin. My mother pushes her chair back, making it scrape loudly against the tile. She walks over to grab the phone, forcefully pulling it out of my hands. Looking down, she must spy the last clip, which has all the signs showing. "Really, Frank?" She glares at my father before plunking the device down in front of him. Dad takes one look at the screen and scowls. His gaze meets mine, and my mother may as well be living on another planet for all we'll listen to her now. To her, the football seasons keep starting earlier and earlier, and now that I'm going to Warner and can participate in the Powderpuff game, she's fighting a losing battle. She can have my dad back in January just like it's been my entire life. "You keep saying it's all good fun," she scolds. "It is," Dad assures her. "That doesn't mean they won't get their ass kicked, does it, Kennedy?" I snicker, and he reaches over to high-five me. The moment our palms meet, it's like an electric shock. For once, my father and I can connect, not only by talking football, but by playing, too. It's a dynamic my father was robbed of, and I would have happily stepped into had I been born a dude. Oh well, being the coach's daughter isn't bad and has one major positive, at least for me. Boys are everywhere. Not just plain boys, either. In shape, totally ripped, muscular hotties. Trust me, I've been around my father's athletes since I was a little girl. I have a well-groomed appreciation for college football players. Now that I'm at the age where it's acceptable to ogle said athletes, I plan to take full advantage. My mother frowns at our display. I don't want her getting hurt. "Oh, it's flag football, for fuck's sake," my dad grumbles. The most she could get is a skinned knee. I can tell it's getting closer to coaching season because my father's swear word filter cracks and the floodgates open. Until January, he'll hit up all the four-letter words countless times. It's meant for the field, but it bleeds into his everyday life, too. As soon as my mother returns to eating, Dad winks at me. He knows the shit that goes on between Hamilton and Warner, and a lot more has happened than a skinned knee. A couple of years ago, a Warner girl got arrested for trespassing when she tried to break into one of the opposing players' houses to spray paint the walls blue. She got a fine, but they hailed her as a hero. If I did anything like that, my mother would die of a stroke, but I'm pretty sure it would make my father's most memorable life moments. The doorbell rings, and my father scoots back from the table, throwing his cloth napkin next to his plate. My mother eyes him over her morning cup of coffee served in a mug that I got her a couple of years ago for Mother's Day. The damn thing is hideous with pink roses all over it. She hates that it doesn't go with her existing china, but insists on using it because I gave it to her. She has a whole cupboard of expensive matching mugs that complement the rest of her fancy dishes. And yet, she uses this one oddity in the whole house. I've even caught her frowning at the mug when she pulls it out of the dishwasher, like she's hoping one day it will miraculously break. I've thought about putting her out of her misery and smashing it accidentally on purpose, but if there's one thing my father and I have in common other than football, it's torturing my mother. Out of love, of course, in small increments. When my father walks back through to the garden patio where we're currently eating breakfast, he's brought a visitor with him. My eyes widen, and I subconsciously sit straighter in the high-back chair. Our huge house dwarfs around the newcomer, not only because his body is a piece of muscled art, but because his aura seems to suck up the room. Lexington Jones III. Holy shit. The best left tackle my father has had the privilege to coach. Not my words, my father's. Deep brown eyes, dirty blonde hair. On his watch, our QB has been sacked 0 times over the last 2 seasons. Plus, his ass is banging in a football uniform. I shake my head of all the football fangirl thoughts and put on my coach's daughter face. It's basically the same, but I stop all drooling immediately. My father would be mortified if he knew I was crushing on one of his players. I'm pretty sure he believes I don't think about those kinds of things. That somehow, through sports talk, he cured me of lust, when in reality, all he gave me was the perfect theater to lose myself in. "Did you see the video?" my dad rants while they walk toward the office. Lexington Jones, or Lex as my father calls him, nods into the breakfast nook at my mother and I before turning his attention back to my father. How could I miss it? It's on all their socials, and the news even picked it up this morning. His broad back boasts the name Jones in white, sitting between his shoulder blades and highlighted by the royal blue of his shirt. I catch the swelling of his biceps just before the wall blocks my view. Mother rolls her eyes when we hear the door shut, but my mind is preoccupied with better things. To be a fly on the wall in that office. I'd bet anything my father is giving the honor of coaching the Powderpuff team to Lex. Officially, Warner, and therefore my father, can't have anything to do with this game. They have no jurisdiction. But unofficially, Dad always wants our Powderpuff team to put the Hamilton girls in their place, and by extension, the Hamilton boys. Plus, there's a little wager that someone snuck in at some point during the game's history. If Warner wins, we get home field advantage during our annual homecoming game against Hamilton. If they win, we have to play them on their field. Statistically speaking, teams always play better at home, especially with the home crowd behind them. Not that we haven't beaten them before on their turf, but our odds go way up when we play at Warner Stadium. So, believe it or not, the Powderpuff game is a key element to the Bulldogs season. And this year, I get to help give my father a leg up on the competition for the first time. "You know you don't have to participate, Kennedy," my mother states in a way that tells me she wishes I would take her up on the offer. "There's still half a summer left. You can go to the lake, say goodbye to your friends before they head off to school. Or I can make new friends where I'll be going to school from now on," I respond, using the excuse I've had on repeat since I walked across the stage in June. No one from high school usually wants to go to Warner. They want to get out of town, go someplace new. I knew that would never be my path. Where I would go to college was pretty much set in stone before I even breathed my first breath. "Promise me you'll have fun too," Mom says, carefully setting her god-awful cup down. "Don't take this so seriously. I know you want to impress your father, but—" I zone her out. She has this mistaken assumption that Dad did his best to turn me into a boy since he didn't get one. I don't think she's quite the type who thinks girls play with dolls and boys play with G.I. Joes, but when it comes to me, I think she would have been happier if I turned out more like her. Running my hands through my hair, I peek back at the hallway that Lex and my father disappeared down, trying to think up an excuse to pop into his office. "Kennedy, you're not even listening." I give my mother a smile. "Of course I am," I assure her. Truthfully, I don't need to listen to her to know what she's saying. Right about now, she's telling me I should do something that's more female-centric. "I'm a girl, right? Isn't there some knitting class I should be taking?" She levels a glare at me. "Not what I said." I must have been at least 75% correct, though. Maybe you were asking me about cheerleading again? "I just think," my mother sighs, giving me that exasperated tone, which tells me I hit the nail on the head. "If you want so badly to be around football, you should join the cheer team." I have zero qualms against cheerleaders, even if my history with them has been rocky. They're athletic and talented in what they do. I'm not the cheerleader type. I'm more the let's tailgate and dissect the team's chances of winning over ribs and salt potatoes and then head into the stands and drink beer while I watch my team win type. I get up from my chair and sling an arm around my mother's shoulders. "Mom, I've been waiting on this game my whole life," I tell her jokingly, when in reality, there's a lot of truth to that statement. She knows it too, which is why she mumbles something incoherent while I decide to walk past my father's office, just in case. Only to find the door closed. I stop, standing in front of it, trying to figure out what to do when it opens in front of me. Standing there like a stalker, I gulp when Lexington Jones III stares down at me with delicious, deep brown eyes. I wasn't just waiting." "Kennedy!" my father calls out from behind him, attempting to squeeze past his player. He sees me and stops. "Oh, you're right here." "I wasn't just standing here," I say again, half-heartedly, my face flaming. I could melt into a puddle right here. My father doesn't seem to notice my embarrassment. He's got his crazy football eyes on, which means he's 100% focused. If the house was on fire, we'd have to slap him upside the head to snap him out of it and get him to safety. "You need to head down to the college field now. Lex is coaching the Powderpuff team, and they're starting practice today." My stomach twists. Today? I thought I'd have a little time to prepare, but that's okay. Shit. I can do this. I can do this. One look at Lex's narrowed scowl, though, has me shriveling back toward the wall. He walks past with his head held high as I stare at his retreating form. A couple of moments later, the front door shuts, and I shake myself out of it. What the hell was that?